8:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Sounditavam. The government hopes to draft the labour law system from the next month. The WHO warns future pandemic pathogens will be even deadlier potential than COVID. Motion to oust Janaka Ratnayaka as the PUCSL chairman is passed in Parliament. The public responsibility of child protection is highlighted. The 2022 GCE Ordinary Level Examination will be held from the 29th of May to the 8th of June. In foreign news, the Australian Prime Minister announces migration deal with India. And in sports, Women's Emerging Asia Cup to commence in June. Minister Manusha Nanayakara says that the government hopes to draft the labour law system from the next month. It is expected to produce to the working masses, including trade zones. The minister was speaking at the fourth session of the dialogue to obtain the people's views to amend the labour laws. It is expected to create a wide array of discussions regarding the labour law amendments. The minister said that he needs the support of the media in this regard. Views and the ideas of the people at all levels are very important. The minister went on to say that he hopes to get the views of the labour officials by next week. Outdated labour laws should be amended. It is a need of the working people in this country. The minister reiterated that the amendments will take place in a fully transparent manner. The motion seeking the removal of Janaka Ratnayaka from his position as the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, pursuant to the Section 7 of the PUCSL Act, was passed in Parliament a short while ago. Accordingly, the proposal to oust Ratnayaka as the PUCSL chairman was passed in Parliament with a majority of 43 votes, with 123 MPs voting in favour of the motion, while 77 others voted against. Speaker Mahinda Abewardena declared that the motion was passed by an absolute majority. Joining the debate, State Minister Shayan Semasinghe said that the aim of this motion is to safeguard the socio-economic stability of the country. Some actions of the PUCSL hinder the IMF bailout procedure. MP Dasiri Jayasekara said that this is a decision taken on behalf of the public. Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara, citing a court ruling, accused the chairman of acting against the autonomy of the PUCSL and disregarding the majority opinion of the Commission's members. He went on to refuse the claims by the opposition that the government is attempting to interfere with the autonomy of independent commissions. MP Vimal Veeravansa said that the removal is unfair. MP Lakshman Kiriella also was against the motion. MP Kumara Welgama, Vadivel Suresh, Anurupriya Dashnayapa, John Seniviratna, Juminda Disanayaka and H.M. Fauzi voting in favour of the motion, while MP Charith Herath and Maitripala Sirisena were against it. The head of the World Health Organization urged countries across the globe to prepare for the next pandemic, warning that future health emergencies could be even worse than the COVID-19 pandemic. The WHO Director General, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus' warning came weeks after the group officially ended the COVID global health emergency. During a meeting of the World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, Tedros said, "COVID is still a threat, but not only one we have to confront." He said that the threat of another variant emerging that causes new surges of disease and death remains, and the threat of another pathogen emerging with even deadlier potential remains. More than 6.9 people globally have died of COVID, according to a WHO tally. Tedros noted that the COVID pandemic showed basically everyone on the planet needs to be better protected. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Department of Examinations informs that there is any error in the admission card given to the students to appear for the 2022 GCE Ordinary Level Examination. The time given to correct it will end at midnight today. The 2022 GCE Ordinary Level Examination will be held from the 29th of May to the 8th of June. The chairman of the National Child Protection Authority highlights the need of being concerned about the well-being of the children in reporting child harassment. Taking part in a press conference today, he noted that the public has a great responsibility in taking care of children. Amending the rules and regulations regarding child protection is a timely need. The chairman further added that the media should not inhibit the ongoing inquiries regarding child abuse and harassment. And with that, we conclude local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The chair of the Sectoral Oversight Committee on an Open and Accountable Government instructed the Department of Pensions to take steps to promptly pay the pensions due to the employees retiring from the government service in Sri Lanka and to have the public informed about the same for that purpose. The chair noted that the public is inconvenienced due to the long time taken to receive the pension and said that this is a concern that has been going on for a long time and that complaints pertaining to the said concern are received frequently. The Sectoral Oversight Committee on an Open and Accountable Government discussed these concerns when the Department of Pensions was called before the committee at its meeting recently in Parliament and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The State Minister of Finance, Ranjit Siambalapitiya, states that the manufacturers have agreed to reduce the prices of locally manufactured school bags and school shoes with effect from 15th July. Accordingly, the prices of locally manufactured school bags and school shoes will be reduced by 10%. The price slash comes in response to a request made by the minister to provide the benefit of the price drop of the raw materials relative to the appreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee, the minister mentioned and came to you in Watchlight. On to a bulletin of world news making headlines tonight. The Australian Prime Minister announces migration deal with India. Russia and China hold bilateral talks, sign pacts amid Western criticism. And Iran denies Western media's claim over building nuclear facility. India and Australia have announced a migration deal as they aim to strengthen their economic cooperation. The announcement came after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met his Australian counterpart Anthony Albanese in Sydney today. The deal aims to promote the two-way mobility of students, graduates, academic researchers and business people. They also discuss regional security amid rising tensions in the region. India and Australia are part of the four-member Quad group, which also includes Japan and the US. Russia's Prime Minister signed a set of agreements with China today during a trip to Beijing, describing bilateral ties at an unprecedented high despite criticism of their relationship in the West as the war in Ukraine drags on. Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, the highest-ranking Russian official to visit Beijing since Moscow sent thousands of troops to Ukraine in February 2022, held talks with his Chinese President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Qiang. With the war in Ukraine in its second year and Russia increasingly feeling the weight of the Western sanctions, Moscow is leaning on Beijing for support, far more than China on Russia, feeding on Chinese demand for oil and gas. The Iranian nuclear chief today denied the Associated Press's claim that Iran is building a nuclear facility so deep in the earth. Iranian Students News Agency reported. The president of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran told reporters on the sidelines of a cabinet meeting they are working according to the regulations of the International Atomic Energy Agency and the safeguards agreements, and whenever it plans to carry out any activity, it informs the agency of the arrangements and acts based on them. Back to the headlines of the world news. The Australian Prime Minister announces migration deal with India. Russia and China hold bilateral talks, sign pacts amid Western criticism. And Iran denies Western media's claim over building nuclear facility. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development news.
Sri Lanka received 489,319 tourist arrivals until the third week of May 2023, while marinating over 100,000 arrivals every month. The total arrivals last year was 719,978, and this is expected to be bettered in a few months and came to you in development news. And on to sports. The Women's Emerging Teams Asia Cup T20 is set to begin on the 12th of June in Hong Kong with the participation of 8 teams from the region. The A teams from Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh and Thailand will feature in the tournament alongside full teams from Malaysia, the UAE and Hong Kong. The tournament will feature 8 days of competition with 15 tournament games as well as an exhibition game. All 8 days will be double headers. That came to you in sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyamet set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyamet set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel, the national ICT solutions provider, reigns as the number one of the telecom industry in the business top 40 rankings for the year 2021-2022, receiving accolades for its exceptional performance, positive financial growth, and contribution to the development of the Sri Lankan economy. During 2021-2022, the nation faced unprecedented challenges. Despite several crises and demanding market socio-economic environment during the past 2 years, SLT Mobitel has resolutely been able to overcome these challenges and position itself as a leader in the telecom industry, and this recognition is a testament to its continued commitment to excellence. That's business news. Economic news up next.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyamet set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyamet set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC, imagine the possibilities.
Lanka Sathos has issued an announcement today stating that the price of 10 essential consumer goods has been reduced. Accordingly, the price reduction will be implemented from today onwards for dried chilies, garlic, dry fish, chickpeas, sambar rice, canned fish, big onions and potatoes, and came to you in economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
The Met Department says that showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the eastern, north central and Uva provinces and in Ratnapura, Kanji and Nora area districts during the evening or night. A few showers may occur in the western coastal areas and in the Gaul and Martara districts during the morning too. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The government hopes to draft the labour law system from the next month. The WHO warns future pandemic pathogens will be even deadlier potential than COVID. A motion to oust Janaka Ratnayaka as the PUCSL chairman passed in Parliament. The public responsibility of child protection highlighted. The 2022 GCE ordinary level examination will be held from the 29th of May to the 8th of June. The Australian Prime Minister announces migration deal with India. And Women's Emerging Asia Cup to commence in June. With that, we conclude this news broadcast.